the primary thing I think that I learned was just to trust your instincts. People are going to say no a lot in life. If you just let that happen each time somebody says no or says you can't do something, you'll never get off the couch. I didn't. I thought there's other ways around this, and I kept trying to do things that I felt, passionate about and committed to.
This is an ad for BetterHelp. In a world full of noise, personal and professional growth start with clarity. But with distractions pulling us in every direction, it's hard to think clearly, let alone be our best. That's why therapy is a great tool, not just for healing, but also for self-improvement. BetterHelp is 100% online, so you can invest in yourself on your schedule. And with over 30,000 licensed therapists, they'll match you with someone who helps you become the best version of you. Visit BetterHelp.com/Ken for 10% off your first month. Can you take us to a moment in your career where maybe several people, your agent or friends and family were like, I don't know, Gary, and you were like, I'm going to trust my gut on this, and it worked out?
I remember going into one audition where I did my audition. I thought I was giving everything I got, really, really punching it up. And then the casting director said, have you studied acting? Have you
Not what you want to
taken
hear.
like acting classes before? And I said, well, I did acting in high school. I have a theater company in Chicago called Steppenwolf. Have you ever thought about getting some acting classes?
Ooh.
taking some lessons, learning like how to act.
Oh my gosh, that's brutal.
And I was like, okay. So what? I thought, well, I'm not going to get that part. But I decided, well, okay, this didn't work out too well. I'm going to go back to Chicago and just zero in on Steppenwolf. And within a year to a year and a half of making that decision to go back to Chicago and go to Steppenwolf, John Malkovich and I were doing the first Steppenwolf play in New York City that we'd ever done. And that was within a year and a half of being told that I couldn't act and I should get some lessons. So Malkovich was one of our members, right? He goes back to the early days of Steppenwolf from 1976. John and I were doing this play by Sam Shepard called True West, small play. I directed it, and we ended up moving it from Chicago. It was a big hit in Chicago. We ended up moving it to New York as the first Steppenwolf show being done in New York. Nobody knew who we were. Nobody knew anything about us. And we opened the show, and it's a massive critical hit. All the critics, New York Times, all of them raving about the show. We were doing it in this little tiny theater with 180 seats, and it was packed every night, all of a sudden. So the casting, I always wondered about that casting director.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did she notice that we just opened one of the big hits in New York? And that show ran for a couple of years. John and I did it for 6 months. We actually put it on television after we did the play. And it started Steppenwolf, moving Steppenwolf into a locally recognized theater in Chicago to an internationally recognized theater around the world. Because when you succeed in New York, the international papers are writing about you. People from overseas are coming to see the shows. They're writing about them in London and all that. And within 6 months, John went into his first movie, and that started his movie career. He did really well. He was playing a really good part. And everybody wanted to cast him and everything. When I was done with that, I went back to Steppenwolf and became the artistic director and was running the theater company. So a lot of great things happened,
What made you not believe her and keep going?
Because I knew we were good. I knew, okay, maybe I'm not right for this part, or I'm not approaching it the right way. But we had done enough theater in Chicago as Steppenwolf that was really good stuff.
Yeah. You had enough feedback from real audiences to know.
Yeah. And within a very short time, I mean, like I said, we were in New York. movie producers, Hollywood's coming. And then within a short time, I had a movie deal out in Hollywood, and I moved to Hollywood. I came in kind of the back door. I came to audition. I didn't do well. I went back to my theater company. We built the theater company up, earned our way as an internationally recognized theater. Lots of people from the movie business now knew who Steppenwolf was. They're coming to see our shows when we open them in New York. Every year we would open a show in New York, and they'd all be hits. And so a lot of people in the movie business were coming to see those shows. And so next thing I know, I'm being offered a movie deal, and I ended up moving to California.
Yeah, and she's ancient history. I love that.
Yeah.